Hello and welcome. We are broadcasting from the Thomas K. McKeon Center for Creativity, and I'm your host, Corey D. Taylor. My show today is a very inspirational show. We have none other than Dr. Lester Shaw. If you want to hear what it takes to make your dreams come true, then tune in because this is Oklahoma Up Close. Welcome back, and we're here with none other than Dr. Lester Shaw. What's going on, sir?
What's up? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Yes.
Man, well, I'm glad you're here, man. So tell me a little bit, what have you been up to?
Man, a lot. I don't know how I do it all, man, but you know, it needs to be done, so I have to do it. We have a new single coming out with A Pocket Full of Hope. We have a building that we're restoring, which is the Big Ten Ballroom. In the early 50s and 60s, it was a major music venue, 14,000 square feet, man, of sure joy and happiness, man. We've been working on this building for a long time, but we had to bring everything up to code and all of that. So, and we just started a new program. Social responsibility training, got a new grant from, the state of Oklahoma, man. So everything is going pretty good, man. The stars are lining up. Yes,
right.
sir.
So for our audience, our viewers, tell us a little bit about what is A Pocket Full of Hope.
A Pocket Full of Hope is an organization with several programs where we help youth develop life skills, learning skills, social responsibility through music, theater, dance, video, and photography.
Now, that's awesome because when I was a young guy living in the inner city of St. Louis at one time, and then I moved out to the suburbs, a little town, Ferguson, it was amazing because there was a guy by the name of Sonny Metcalf back then, and he had a similar program that you had, and it was called WBMS, and we traveled to the Apollo Theater to perform. He made a way for kids that didn't have funding to be able to be performers and be entertainers. And so some of those people that left that group, they went on to dance with MC Hammer. They were singing groups with MC Hammer. It was a lot of people. So A Pocket Full of Hope, you're really targeting less fortunate youth?
Yeah, it's really for all the youth.
Okay.
But we look at youth as youth in transition to adulthood.
All right.
And so because a lot of kids growing up, whether they have a single parent or double parent, a lot of times they have gaps in their development, regardless of what their economic status is or what race, creed, color. And so we usually target kids who are sort of, missing something. We help fill in the gaps, and we help the schools, the churches, the community. They can't do it all. So what we do, we sort of bridge that understanding. Say, look, my child is needing this, he's needing that. And so we have research-based programs that we connect each child with that helps them develop themselves. If you look at over time, there are a lot of programs and activities that don't cater to the youth. It's almost like society is saying, we'll bury them at 12 and dig them back up at 18. And so there's that transition that's missing. And so we help them transition themselves because they can't wake up one day and say, look, I'm an adult. Just like I can't wake up one day and say, I want to be a heart surgeon. Would you let me operate on you?
No.
I don't think so.
Right.
So there's a process. And so we teach them how to be patient with that process because growing up, man, sometimes it can get kind of hard for kids, man, because they don't understand a lot of things and they can't process a lot of things and they can't verbalize because everything is, a lot of times it's emotional. And so they just act out, but as adults, we've learned how to do that. And so we want to teach them early on how to process those things and how to get through some of those tough times. But it's for all the kids, man.
Now, this is amazing because I want our viewers to pick up on this. You talked very eloquent about this. And so I want them to know that just like Dr. Phil, you are a real doctor.
Yes, sir.
Doctor of education, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so I can hear that passion coming out because it's so important because when the whole Michael Brown situation broke out in St. Louis, what people didn't understand was there were two facets of young people. and that took over in this whole protest. There were those who were the angry ones who didn't really have these type of outlets, and they just start tearing up, looting and everything. And then there were the more social responsible ones who said, we're going to exercise our amendments and we're going to protest and do this peacefully. But like you said, a lot of young people are not having that mentorship and that guidance, and so Pocket Full of Hope is establishing that for them.
Oh, absolutely. And we have a lot of young parents, and sometimes, young parents, they may have some gaps in their development. So we have programs and educational opportunities for those parents as well, because we know it's tough. Even with two-parent homes, sometimes they're working, and it's like we call them the working poor, because they have maybe 2 and 3 jobs, and so they sort of depend on the school and organizations like ours and the church, to help them teach their kids these responsible attitudes that they need to have to be a functional a member of society.
So why the arts, though? Because it sounds like, I know you are expanding and you're doing social awareness and social programming, but it sounds like a Pocket Full of Hope does a lot of investing in kids by utilization of the arts. So
Right.
Why the arts?
Well, I believe you can't teach kids what you don't know. And so I have a music background, and music has taken me all over the world. And so I know the importance of people say, well, like an athlete. They said, well, I'm an athlete, so that's my ticket. So I'm able to use what I know. And music is universal. It brings people together. It forms a union with kids instantly. And so we're able to break down barriers with kids through music, and you enliven and then we enlighten. So once we enliven them
That's good.
with music and with all of these different creative outlets they can have, then you enlighten them. So it's an awesome opportunity for us to do that.
So how many youth would you say are involved in a Pocket Full of Hope on a continual basis?
We've had, depending on the production or what we're working on, we have a core group of about 48 now. And so now we've partnered with Girl Scouts Beyond Bars. And so that's an extra 20 that we have. But we've had up to 150. We did a production called The Wiz, and we've had up to 150 at one time. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's
Impacting lives.
It impacted a lot of lives, man. It's exciting. The young people all come in and they say, man, I don't know how you can deal with it. You got kids over here doing this, you got kids over there doing that. But that's what music does. It just excites these young people, and they're able to break down these barriers, and then you can do some things, you know what I mean? And so that's the excitement that they have, and really that's what I expect. And so when they have this nervous energy, when they're getting ready to go on stage, I say, this is why you do it. You have people to jump out of airplanes because, they want that rush. They say, oh, wait, hey, let's do this. And so when kids get ready to perform, these little kids, she was about 7, and we had this performance for a benefit. And so for the Mental Health Association. And after the performance, she said, I want to do it again. I said, no, the show is over. Yeah. Now the show is over. We'll save it for the next show, you know what I mean? But it's just that rush that she got and said, hey, and that's a good rush.
Exactly. So for me, what made you start a Pocket Full of Hope? Because as a person who have a doctorate degree, a master's degree, and then also able to do music, you could have went off and did a whole bunch of other things. But what was it that made you start it?
Well, it was a number of things. It was a lot of different variables going on at the time. I was working with a nonprofit, a local nonprofit, and I was working in 13 housing complexes, getting people in drug treatment, connecting people with resources. And so I had a special love for the kids. I would see them in these housing complexes, and I would say, look, these kids really, even though they're living in, these housing complexes, these are some good kids. you know, and so they wanted something out of their lives, you know, and so I said, well, you know, let me think about what I can do. So as I began to do that, I was working on my master's at the time at OU, and shout out to OU. And I was working on my master's, and I was in a gangs, drugs, and violence class, you know, and I was reading all the information. It was about pockets of poverty, pockets of despair. And I'm like, okay, where are the pockets of hope? Oh, the pockets of hope is in these places where maybe the news media, or maybe there's a misconception of people who don't live there. They don't know that these are some good people and some good kids. They've just been kind of misinformed. So maybe I need to reach out to them and sort of, you know, showcase these good things that they're doing so people can have a different perception, and to give some people that ordinarily wouldn't get these opportunities, give them a chance. And so this is what we've been doing, and we've been traveling. We've gone to Memphis to the Civil Rights Museum. We've gone to Atlanta twice, perform, visit all those historical places. We've gone to New York, where I taught school, and I also got to perform on Times Square. Got to go to the Apollo.
Wow.
And so just kind of exposing them to some things.
To reach beyond their normal boundaries.
Reach beyond their normal boundaries and allow them to do some things, which a lot of those things we do in spring break, which is called our Youth Empowerment Tour.
Okay. Now, you said that you taught in New York, but you're originally from Tulsa.
Originally from Tulsa.
But how did you get to New York?
Doing my undergrad years, I was in music, and we was part of a choir, and during spring break we would go out and, you know, recruit students and perform 10-day tour up and down the East Coast. So I got to go to New York for the first time, and so I got to see all the possibilities. I said, man, one day I want to come back here and just be a part of New York. But I wanted to be in the music business.
Right.
And so I went to New York, started being in the music business. But, you know, sometimes, you know, when you're in the music business or any kind of business,
right,
the money may not come in.
Right.
So I had to get a job. And so I started working in Harlem as a lifeguard. And I was living in Brooklyn. I was like a breakfast cook for like a day, you know.
Breakfast cook?
I was a breakfast cook, man. I was
for a day?
Because I was like, okay, what can I do? Okay, I know how to cook. Let me see, what else can I do? You know, I had to hustle, man. And there's an energy in New York, man, where you feel like you got to do something.
Right.
And so then I got the job as a lifeguard, and then I was applying, so I got this job. They called me to teach school, and I'm like, yes. And so it wasn't too far from where I lived. I didn't have to go from Brooklyn to Harlem to teach. Although Harlem, where it was Dunleavy Millbank Recreation Center, the Alvin Ailey Dancers was rehearsing there at the time. Mm-hmm. A lot of your athletes that are out now, they worked out there. So it was a wonderful, awesome experiences. And the kids, after I left, the Pocket kids got to perform there. So it was awesome, man. So yeah, I taught school in New York, man, and my kids got to go there. And it was, and I'm still connected with those people. So
now, you said you went there and you were in the music business, and then you said you had to get a job, because a lot of people don't understand that the music business is a very complex business, and there's a lot of hurry up and wait. I remember Wayman Tisdale taught me that. He said, you know, when you're dealing with music, the music industry, it's a lot of hurry up and wait. Hurry up and get stuff done, but wait until we call and we need it.
Right.
And so when you were trying to make your adventure into the music business, how did that turn out for you? Because of course you had to go get a job, but what were some of the things you experienced early on when you were doing the entertainment thing?
As far as in New York,
yes,
I'm background in. I got to be on the Apollo Theater. singing, writing, and producing music for other artists. I think Freddie Jackson was up there, and Melba Moore. All of them they were really hot back then, and so doing that whole scene. But I got to go to different music workshops. I mean, you go to a workshop there, and you have some of everybody. I remember going to one. Let me see, M. Toomey was on the stage. I think he had a tune, "Juicy Fruit," out of the time.
Right.
Too sad, yeah. So he was kicked back, and and I think reggae was just breaking the door in,
Right.
And so one of the guys who I was producing, he also worked for a newspaper. So he had press passes and everything. So we got to go in, and we got to go a lot of different places based on his hookups and his connections with the newspaper. And so I was all over the city, man.
But let me ask this question, because how did you feel? Because you said all of this was going on, but then you had to get a job because it wasn't really paying the bills.
Right.
So did you kind of do music on the side, or did you just kind of let music go altogether?
No, I never let it go altogether. I was a madman. I would teach during the day and do music in the evening, and I had my kids, there with me. And so, I mean, my kids would go with me to the record companies to shop my music.
What is it about North Tulsa people? Because we've had several people on the show. They all got this whole Joe Jackson thing, without the abuse, of course, but they got a Joe Jackson mentality. They kids are either in music. The fathers always say, "Come on, we going. You going with me." So you took your kids with you to the record labels?
To the record labels. They were sitting up, as a matter of fact, my youngest kids would they would all be like they were all three of them were young at the time, but in a row, like on the couch, and I'm waiting for people to come out, so I can hand them, my tape.
Right. The tape.
Yeah,
it was the tape back then, no CD.
And I would hand them, the tape, and still mailing it in, because it was, it was right there. And so I didn't have a problem with that, but I knew that there were some limitations and things that I couldn't do, because of, I mean, New York never sleeps. And so if you really, really want to be in the music business, sometimes you have to be out there. You have to be, they call it kicking it in the rhythm of the city, to know what's going on, to know what's happening. You got to be out in the clubs. And so, or wherever music is played, to find out what people are really listening to. And so that was the dilemma, but it was a good dilemma, because I had all of this at my disposal. But I learned a lot. But every time I was in other cities and shopping my music, my eyes were still open to what can I bring back to Tulsa. I knew that I wasn't there to live, like I'm gonna live here. I knew my heart was still in Tulsa, and so these are all the things that have culminated around my life to make me who I am, to make me do what I do, to make me the reason why I created, a pocket full of hope.
I understand that your sons went through it, and we've had your sons on the show before, and you and your sons, going back to this whole Jackson 5 thing, you all formed a group called Shaw.
Yes.
And you taking your youngsters with you to the record labels, that actually paid off, because you got one son that's a producer now, and you got another son, he does acting and he designs clothes, as well as he is a Grammy nominated songwriter.
Oh, yeah.
So
they both are Grammy nominated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I only knew about the one, but both are Grammy nominated.
Yeah.
So, how does that feel now? Because it would seem for most people would get salty, because it seems like they left a lot of things, but you have benefited through your generations now, that now this has come to full maturity through your sons.
Right. And I'm just so proud of them. They've stayed out of trouble. They're making, good decisions. They listen, and I've never really forced, the business on them. I've kind of let them make up their own mind. And so that's been an awesome, as a father, it's been awesome seeing how they've come into their own. And, I talk to them, and how they, manage and go back and forth with their ideas with each other. And I just told them the other day, man, I said, man, I'm just proud of you all. I'm proud of, I'm seeing you all cross over into this manhood arena, and it's just a beautiful thing to see, man. I'm just, I'm glad that I was able to keep them important, in my life. So.
Now that's awesome, because I understand as a result of them doing what they did, they came back and helped Dad fulfill some dreams and produce. And now you are a Dr. Shaw for real, because you have a doctorate degree, but now you go by Doc Shaw and you released some records that your sons helped produce and stuff. And then it opened up doors for you to travel internationally.
Yes, sir.
So talk to me a little bit about that. How did that all transpire?
Well, some music that I did in the 80s. I was in San Francisco, and I recorded my first album, and had some of the greatest musicians that were playing on there from Felton Pilot, from Confunction, had some musicians from Santana's band. And so the overseas market is really into that sound. And so I was recording with my son at the studio and got an email from France. And they were interested in some of the music, that I had done previously.
Right.
And so I said, at first I was kind of skeptical, like, okay, here we go.
Because you've been
is this a stalker or what?
Right.
And to come to find out, he had one of the biggest internet record stores that focused on, music from the 80s. And so with that music, I re-released it. And my son we had recorded 2 songs, and so I added that onto that, which kind of brought it up to date. So we have a tune on there, "In My Life," which is the name of the CD. It's called "My Life," and "The Sun Will Rise Again," which I did with my sons. And so it's been doing really, really well. And we're just getting ready to release, and maybe by the time this aired, maybe out September the 11th, tune called "Crazy World." We're going to release that. It's on pre-order right now. So it's about bringing the attention on the goodness of how families should be and how families used to be, and kind of remembering how that worked. A lot of things now they kind of sort of idolizing the single life and kind of promoting that, but also there's a family life that's really the backbone of how I grew up. And so that's what the song is all about, and how these good things can still be available even in this crazy world.
Because I know some months ago you all also, as Shaw, the group, you and your sons, you dropped a song called "If There Ain't No Beauty, Make Some."
If it ain't no beauty, make some.
And it had a very catchy tune, and I noticed that it was getting some views on the internet. But tell me, where did that come from? What prompted you all to make that song? Because it actually is a period song, and you can feel like older vibes through the song, but also you got your sons in, and it's like a Temptations meet like a contemporary market.
Right.
So where did that birth out of?
Well, in A Pocket Full of Hope, and how we all started, A Pocket Full of Hope, and the attitude that I wanted to sort of change about people who are different than us or whatever. Sometimes we can live in a depressed state of mind, a depressed area. And so it's like, okay, wait a minute. Why should I complain about what somebody else is not doing? If I don't have any flowers in my yard, put some there. If it ain't no beauty, make some beauty.
Wow.
And so that was the whole point where that came from, and really it came from an old Earth, Wind, and Fire saying, if it ain't no beauty, make some beauty. Have mercy. Listen to me, y'all.
You love them so this music, but it's good music.
Right. And so I mean, it's so true. Why complain? Make it happen. and just make it happen. If you need some beauty around you, be beautiful. And so that's the whole point about that song.
Wow. So when you were on tour, what were some of the other acts that were with you on tour?
Surface. Remember that song, Shower Me With Your Love?
I love that song.
Surface.
Yes, I know that song.
Surface.
I think my wife and I, we danced to that in middle school. I was with my wife in middle school, so I think we danced to that in middle school. Well, go ahead.
That's a beautiful song. Surface, Yarborough and Peoples.
Right.
Don't you stop it. Yarborough and Peoples. And then I had a song called Pull My Love String. When you pull my, it's kind of the producer who produced the Whispers produced that song for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So it had that kind of Whispers flavor, you know what I mean? And so we did a 5-day tour.
What about, is there any more touring in the works for you or anything?
Man, I just got a email from a guy from Norway who was looking for some of my earlier songs. I was with a group called Teaspoon, and we had a song called Say Yeah and School Dance and Sweetness, and that was printed on those little 45s.
Vinyl.
Yeah, on the vinyl.
Right.
Back in the day. And so, oh yeah, absolutely. Touring is definitely in the making, and I'm seeing how I can incorporate all the theater stuff that we're doing, because I always want to include the kids, and incorporate all of that to do a tour, with these young people, and let them see how, people not only in their community but other communities can appreciate, who they are and what they do.
So Dr. Shaw, this show, Oklahoma Up Close, is all about encouraging people and letting them know that just because they're in Oklahoma, they still have an opportunity to be successful. So in about 15 seconds, what advice would you give them, or what it would take for them to be successful?
Well, first of all, I would tell them to put the priorities in line with what they're doing. Follow their passion. Make sure that if you're doing anything, that you prepare yourself to do that. Preparation is key, and to be patient with the process.
Well, Dr. Shaw, thank you again for coming. Look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, thank you, sir.
I hope you've enjoyed our show today. I would like to thank our guest, Dr. Lester Shaw, for joining us. Think about this. Change is inevitable, but your attitude towards that change, it is always optional. Until next time, keep looking forward.